Robert Newport, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Sean. How are you doing?
I'm good. So we're here to be kind of showing a little bit of the history of the hall, but also the functions that happen present day. And there's a community partner that's now doing performances out of here, which is Claude McNeil Productions.
Yeah, absolutely. So Claude McNeil Productions, they've been in the building for a little over a year now. We're thrilled with the partnership. You know, we got this beautiful 100-year-old building. It's built by the Knights of Columbus, the first Knights of Columbus Council in Indiana, the modern-day Knights of Columbus. These days, what do you have to do to be relevant? What do you have to do to be viable? And Claude McNeil Productions, they were the American Cabaret Theater in the Athenaeum for almost 20 years. Had some amazing performances there, a long, proud history of vibrant plays and productions, and they're bringing that here to McGowan Hall. They're doing Jesus Christ Superstar coming up over the holiday season. And the quality of performances was really top-notch, just amazing actors, professional actors here from the Midwest. And we're excited about the partnership to bring a lot of life to the building.
And I know we're going to go over what type of things happen in the Grand Hall itself, but how long has this building been here, and what was a little bit of the transition for the new build?
Yes, certainly. McGowan Hall was built in 1922 by the Knights of Columbus to serve as a Knights of Columbus Hall. There still is an active Knights Council here, among other building partners that you see with Claude McNeil Productions. So there's a lot going on. You know, Naptown Stomp has weekly dance nights here, swing dancing. We have the nights, we have charitable events, we do rent the building out for wedding receptions, quinceañeras, family reunions, corporate events, fundraisers, you name it. We've got a 5,500 square foot ballroom up there to rent out, which you'll see here in a moment.
And there was a mansion that was attached to the building back in the day. Is that
there
right?
was the Grand McGowan Mansion. Hugh McGowan, he made his fortune with the Interurban, which we can talk a little bit about later too. If you're into transportation history in Indiana, it's electric light rail. It was a great network. I really wish we still had it. But yeah, that sat over here. It was connected to McGowan Hall. So that was built in the 1870s. The Knights purchased the mansion in 1919, and that became the clubhouse at that point. And they added this building onto it. 1922, they stood together until 1963, when sadly they severed the mansion. Membership was dwindling. People were spreading out to other Knights councils throughout the city, and the resources were drying up. So sadly, the mansion is no more, but we have this beautiful parking lot.
And what year did you get connected?
Yeah, I got connected in, I've always been here, Sean. No. I got involved in 2013. So I've been here about a little over 10 years, 11 years, and just fell in love with the building and the history. I was a history major in college. Fell in love with really what this place stands for. The faith, the fraternity, the brotherhood, and the history. You have so many cool little historical tidbits. Ray Charles played on that stage, Wes Montgomery, Woody Herman, Little Junior Parker, Bobby Blue Bland, a lot of big names for back in the day. And also, like I said, what the building stands for, the traditional Catholic values of the Knights. And that rings true to today. You know, we don't do events that would conflict with those traditional family values.
All right, well, let's check out Mother Mary's Garden over here.
Let's do it.
So we're here in the Marian Garden, and when was this established? When did they essentially build it out?
Yeah, late 90s. There was a fundraising effort, and they put this all together, had a landscape architecture firm come in and put the sidewalks in and the brick, and did the landscaping. Recently, we moved Mary to the center of the garden as she rightfully should be placed. But yeah, the Marian Garden signifies Mary, modern day, Mother of God. This is the modern day Knights of Columbus Council that meets here at McGowan Hall. Chartered in 1899. We actually have the charter inside. First Knights Council in the state of Indiana. Lots of proud history here.
That's beautiful. So what is this historic tree behind you?
Oh my gosh. This ginkgo tree, it's a very old species. We have photographs inside from the 1920s, and this tree is fully grown, right? So it's got to be at least, 150 years old. It is a female ginkgo tree, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because it produces these very stinky berries that you better sweep up, or else they will be tracked in and just stink up the whole place. But it's a very historic tree. We had to fight hard when I got involved 10 years ago to save the tree. It was being choked out by vines, and we had to get our axes, and then now it produces even more stinky berries. But, you know, it is coming back strong.
So it looks like the concrete behind you was added on later. Can you explain that?
It was. So 1960s, when sadly they did tear down the beautiful McGowan mansion, you know, they had to construct some sort of Band-Aid. So this 1960s geometric concrete block is actually the Band-Aid, if you will, where the mansion was sadly torn down. And over this way, you see these 12 original windows that we opened up last year. And there are actually 93 window openings in the entire building. We're slowly opening window by window, trying to restore those. They are all still there behind the concrete block. And a lot of people ask, why would they block in all these beautiful windows? Well, of course, to conceal all the secrets. Kidding. In the 1960s, pretty rough neighborhood, probably security purposes, maintenance, heating and cooling costs. They were sick of fixing all the windows when people would throw things through the glass. So, yeah, unfortunately, they covered them all up in the 60s, but there is a silver lining. They did preserve the windows for 60 years for when we're opening them back up again.
So Robert, we're here in the Grand Hall and you're on stage front. So how many different types of performances do you think over the years have been performed here in the Grand Hall?
Oh my goodness. A lot of history here, from USO dances, servicemen dances in the 1940s, to Ray Charles a couple times in the 1950s, Wes Montgomery, Woody Herman, Little Junior Parker, Bobby Blue Bland. These are big blues names. Countless other acts in the Grand Hall. 5,500 square feet. There's a large balcony. Cathedral High School even played a few years of their basketball games here in the 1920s before they built their own gym on 14th Meridian. So countless events, quinceañeras, wedding receptions, plays, concerts, dances.
So obviously if somebody has a wedding reception here or a private party, they can bring in their own acts and have them perform on stage as well.
That's true. They can bring in their own acts. They can bring in their own catering, which is kind of a big deal. Not a whole lot of venues these days in Indy let you still do that. We do control the bar, however. Can't let things get too out of hand, but we do have the flexibility on catering.
What's some of the favorite shows that you've witnessed here on stage?
Oh my gosh, there's this band called Full House. It's a play on Full House. It is a 80s, 90s cover band. They brought in this light show. They were doing high knee kicks. They have a video backdrop, and they synchronized their music to all the popular videos of the 90s, and they crushed it. That was a lot of lasers, fog machine. That was a ton of fun. And a lot of these productions lately that Claude McNeil has done have really blown me away. They got Jesus Christ Superstar coming up here in December. But the Agape Performing Arts Group was another theater group that came in. They did Les Miserables. That was incredible. They built like a 20-foot stage revolve, and they had the barricade scene, and the whole barricade was rotating. I mean, did some pretty neat events here in this room.
So as we could see, you've got rigging here. Was that for what type of performance or event?
This is all Claude McNeil Productions. They're getting ready for Jesus Christ Superstar. They just finished up a Cole Porter and Hoagie Carmichael review with a lot of talented musicians that just wrapped. So this is all part of their production.
And then talk about the balcony a little bit.
Yeah, certainly. There is a tiered balcony that was probably used a lot when Cathedral High School played a few years of basketball in here. But I imagine also, you know, shows like Ray Charles in the 50s and some of these servicemen dances. We haven't used it a whole lot lately. We have used it for larger productions, but not a whole lot as of late.
And then we're going to go back and check out the bar, but just give a little bit of history of the bar.
Certainly. The bar behind us, it was actually, if I'm getting my facts right, originally a 1940s bar. But most recently, you may recognize it from Ike and Jonesy's, which is sadly closed down, but I'm sure, Sean, you've had a lot of good memories there.
It was a great time downtown.
It was.
So again, you said this bar was from Ike and Jonesy's.
Ike and Jonesy's, lots of fun.
How old do you think it is, and when did it come in here to the building?
I believe it's from the 1940s, so it was in another bar before Rick Eichholz, Rick and Linda, obtained it for Ike and Jonesy's. The entire bar, the back bar, is 26 feet wide, so we did have to split it up a little bit. We turned the center portion of it into a Marian shrine that is downstairs. and we have the rest of it up here. So such a cool 1940s example. I don't know if you can see over here, these are actually individual glass tubes, which I thought was amazing. That's not all one piece. So you see these in a lot of bars that look really cool and they're lit up. Those are all individual glass tubes there. That ain't no plastic.
Now, as far as the types of liquor, it's across the board if somebody has an event here?
Stock just about anything. You know, if there's a special request, we can get it. We keep a fully stocked bar for all of our events. There are several different packages we can custom tailor to fit your event.
Okay. So this is a very spacious room. How big is the room? What's the capacity on an event?
Right. The room, it is a large space, about 5,500 square feet. And tables and chairs, we can get about 400 people in here. Still room for a dance floor, still room for a buffet. And there's not an incredible amount of spaces in the city that can do that, you know, unless you start paying the high dollars for the hotel and convention center.
And so you supply the tables, the linens, and everything?
We don't do the linens,
Okay.
but we do the basics. We do the tables and chairs. We do provide cleanup at the end of the night. We have our staff take out the trash throughout dinner, throughout the event. We break down tables and chairs. We clean up at the end of the night. Typically our guests, they like to get things just so they typically handle setup of the tables and chairs. We can do that for an additional fee, but we try to provide the basics. We have 400 banquet chairs up here, stackable cushioned banquet chairs, and 50 round tables available, plenty of rectangular tables as well for the buffet or whatever you might need them for.